Okay, wow. I was a little unsure if this video actually from Smash JT apparently got flagged or copyright struck by Black Girl Gamer, and that apparently it's due to be removed. I thought it was going to be removed already. So not only did I queue this up, I also downloaded it just in case. I haven't really watched what they're saying. And I kind of wish I got some alcohol so I can listen to it, because I can't imagine it being any good. But I'm going to do this. This is the last video too. Then we can start playing Silent Hill 3. Which is kind of funny. I'm going to play... the depressing game is going to be the palate cleanser. But anyway, I feel like these are the people who who think you're stupid, and they're gonna wag their finger at you. Anyway, sorry. Let's go.
Some help with this one, because after watching this 26-minute video,
how long is this? Okay, it's only 16.
Crazy pills to
Not
come
that
back
bad.
To reality. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. Think about
I like that shirt.
Three most untrustworthy people in the gaming industry, and imagine that they were trying to tell you to trust them. You can cut the irony with a knife. Anyways, these three all got together and held a seance to bitch about gamers, because apparently anyone that wants to play a game that they enjoy is the problem, because they aren't willingly allowing these consultancy firms.
Yeah, I know. That doesn't surprise me that Kirsha played it, but but we're gonna delve into this fucker. I know he's gonna do it with the bridged version, but anyway, sorry. I'm just delaying the inevitable. Let's do this shit.
And because of that, unfortunately, guys, I got some bad news for you. Gamers are the enemy.
Of course we are. We're so bad.
Subscribe, give me a like, and check out SmashJT.com for the full article discussing this ridiculous slog of a video that I got through for you. It will break down the highlights, or I guess you could say lowlights from it, so that you don't have to sit through it. If you want to, I'll link it in the video description below as well, but trust me, you're not missing anything. Black Girl Gamers, a consultancy group, if you will, recently held their Online Summit 2024, where they held a number of interviews about the video game industry, and one particular video stood out to me as a bit peculiar.
Yeah, look, Miss Terrify.
Breaking down the Gamergate, the toxic side of gaming culture. Jayanne Lopez, the CEO of Black Girl Gamers, Kim Belair, the CEO of Sweet Baby Inc., and Ash Parrish, a staff writer for The Verge, held their Online Summit 2024. Their event was supposedly a platform for authentic, real conversations about the industry. But in reality, it was anything but that.
One, it also shows that the work that we do needs to happen. The writing on the marginalized communities in gaming needs to happen. The consultation for games needs to happen, because the small community, though they are small, they are loud, and we do need to have our contrasting narratives out there.
These are three of the most toxic, untrustworthy people in the video game industry. And
sadly, that's not even all of them. All the toxic people in this industry
have to have an echo chamber. They will block out any criticism, any voices that are saying, hey, what you're saying, I don't agree with. I think we should have a conversation about. Nope. You're blocked.
I have no idea if I'm blocked by her or not.
You are toxic and you are bad to them. This mentality is exactly the type of person that is destroying the video game industry.
Oh, is this the reason that all of these games are now woke, that they have people of color in them, or queer people, or any marginalized identities at all? Or even
not
sometimes
what woke means.
That, they perceive like, oh, this woman's design is not quite as it used to be, and I think it used to be hotter. So there's a lot of stuff that's been put on us, both things that we did work on, things that we didn't, and then we kind of just became shorthand for the wokeification, quote unquote, of gaming.
The panel pretended to invite discussion and dialogue, but it only served as a megaphone for these three participants to perpetuate their own biased narrative while continuing to stifle any dissenting voices whatsoever. And here's the real kicker. Before I even get to the video itself and some of these ridiculous clips and things they said, because trust me, you're not even going to believe what they said. They didn't even open up their comment section. Well, I mean,
oh wow, shocker.
Comments are turned on. But do you see something interesting here? There's over 3,000 views and only one comment. And that one comment is a comment praising Black Girl Gamers, because apparently They don't want any negativity in their life. Read criticism, or people that are trying to be critical or have a discussion about moving the industry forward. They only want people agreeing with them and adding them to the echo chamber that they've created. And
Or point out the shit that they do. Like, you know, the whole, what was it? Terrifying developers. What is Black Girl Gamer Girl? I know they kind of essentially got one woman canceled. I forgot her name. She's on Side Scrollers every now and then, but I know she apparently worked with them and whatnot, and she kind of, I guess, kind of got red pilled, kind of saw things for what they really are, and they tried to cancel her. They tried to get rid of her.
yes, I put a comment in there. I'll get to that in a
Nice.
little bit. But first off, let's listen to what Jayanne said about what this panel was supposed to be about.
All right.
Some authentic, real conversations about the industry. Something
My
that
ass.
I know a lot of us wanted to talk about and experience, and during the time we could not. So, yeah, this is going to be a pivotal panel. In this panel, we're going to use Gamergate as the backdrop, and we'll discuss the realities of gaming culture.
Oh, I'm sure they're gonna have very objective when it comes to Gamergate. So sure. So I'm guessing I'm pretty sure their source of Gamergate isn't like Wikipedia or something.
The intersections with gaming community and how people can be accountable allies.
Notice how she doesn't say how people can be accountable. She says how people can be accountable allies. Meaning,
Okay, you can't just put words together and somehow think that's a phrase now.
as long as you are pushing their agenda and
Nope.
on their side, it's okay to be accountable for making sure you are pushing their truth forward, but not being accountable for your actions in denigrating other people or trying to ruin their lives. Because if they were accountable, I'd like to think Kim Belair would step forward and say, yes, I'm sorry, one of my employees.
Gothics, that's the girl who I'm thinking about. She used to work with Black Girl Gamer and essentially kind of went against the grain, and they essentially tried to cancel her and tried to pretty much get rid of her completely. Not like kill her, but you know, they pretty much just made her look bad.
Chris Kindred contacted Smash JT's old job trying to get him fired,
I'm blocked by them too.
making up things about how he's a racist and other horrible things that were said about him. But this is a war with these people. They are relentless and they will stop at nothing for victory. And that includes silencing, blocking, going in protected, and then trying to remove the income sources that people might have in order to win the battle and continue pushing their narrative. And one of the most ridiculous comebacks from Ash Parrish is telling people that they need to trust the establishment because they know what's best for you because they've been around for a while and that's where she works. So of course, those
You can trust
people
her.
you can Trust.
Establishment, you always know what's best. You suck!
You're allowed.
I'm I'm squeezing my temple here because I'm closing. That's yeah, you can trust them. Well, let's sorry.
Are going to be like your big, tentpole legacy media kind of places. I work for The Verge, which is a vertical of Vox Media. There's Polygon, there's IGN, there's GameSpot, there's all these different legacy video game websites that have been around for a very long time that have a vested interest in making sure that the things that they share with you,
A financial interest.
things that they write, are up to journalistic standards.
Yeah, I will
Their journalistic standards.
trust the same person that literally just said that you will embed yourself in discords to find out what people are saying about you for the sole purpose of creating content and being able to play the victim card.
I am.
You have to trust us because please, no one's flowing to our site. Please don't go to people. Don't go to other people. Don't go to YouTube for opinions and your news, please.
I'm a video game journalist, and if you know nothing about Gamergate, one of their main hated
Please
enemies
lie.
more than anything is a video game journalist who is not afraid to speak truth to power. And my experience with that whole chicanery is that
You lied a lot,
They-
probably.
they popped up. I went and embedded in their Discord and listened to the kinds of things that they were saying and why they were saying those things. Wrote a piece about
You saw straw man arguments, and then you said, that's all I need.
How this second Gamergate is a bit smaller and sadder than what it was 10 years ago, and you know,
And yet you somehow act like they're the reasons your game got that games like Dustborn and Concord are failing. We're so small and pathetic, but no, we did that. You know, Gamergate was so sad, but they're the ones who got Trump elected. It's amazing. Oh, they're so small. They're nothing, but they have so much power. The fuck?
Whenever you write about those kinds of things, it
Too late.
really
I get my
keeps
news
on
from
a
React
hornet's
channels.
nest over.
Same.
You gotta see this.
That, Rev, Hirohi, all these other people. I just...
Yourself, right? But then we have Kim Belair.
Mostly because they dissect it, too.
No, Ash. You might
Even Asmongold also. You know, whether you like Asmongold or not, or want to bitch about his living conditions, he seems like a pretty smart guy. And again, listening to people isn't necessarily agreeing with them.
think you're a victim. But me, starting Sweet Baby Inc., I'm the biggest victim of everyone. We are patient zero when it comes to being victims, because the entire video game industry is just full of such toxic people, horrible people, and they're all out to get us, and all we're trying to do is inject DEI into these games so we can make millions of dollars off these people, but for some reason, they won't give us the money, and it's the gamers that's the problem, not us.
Yeah, I would say I think of...
Hold on. Give me 1 minute. I probably should have brought this back up, but I kind of forgot that this was a thing. Gonna just remind everybody.
If you're a creative working in AAA, which I did for many, many years, put this stuff up to your higher-ups. And if they don't see the value in what you're asking for when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
But they're the victims. Right?
Of us almost in as like patient zero of this wave of Gamergate, in that I think when I think of it as where it started, it was kind of the week that we had announced that we were on both Alan Wake 2 and Spider-Man 2, which are...
No, it kind of more or less blew up when your dumbass person, Chris Kindred, kind of got all pissy because Kabrutus made a goddamn Steam curator site. Otherwise, no one would have really cared. And when Chris pretty much said, hey, report this group, not only report this group, actually, report Kabrutus and get his account banned, which meant losing all his games. If you would have just kept your fucking mouth shut, or told, or kept, he would have kept, she, whatever, kept their goddamn mouth shut, it just would have never have happened. None of this would have ever fucking happened. And as far as I know, they still work there at SBI. You didn't reprimand them. You didn't say anything about this crap. Nope. You just fucking kept quiet while one of your employees go after this guy. I believe is he Brazilian? I think he's in Japan now, but still. But yeah, this poor Hispanic man.
Two, I think, popular games among the game community and players in general, and immediately, I think the targeting began with this kind of like, we found this secret, sinister website from Sweet Baby Inc. Meanwhile, we're on Twitter like, I've been so excited to let people know that we worked on these two really great games. And
I thought you said you didn't work on those games, or you had very little involvement.
The assumption was essentially made that our work on that had not been story or narrative or character related. It had been to make a black character exist in Alan Wake 2, and I think to put pride flags in Spider-Man 2.
And to put the incorrect flag for Miles Morales, you put the Cuban flag for a kid who's half Puerto Rican. Wow, really good at that. Also, why did you have to put a black character in Alan Wake 2? What was I didn't really hate Saga, but why? What did that add? Other than that stupid-ass line about not needing a white man to tell you what to do. Great, because that really added to the fucking story. It totally didn't feel like, Sam didn't write this. And that's pretty much half the time I was playing that game. It's like, because I love Part 1. I love Sam Lake. I love Max Payne. Max Payne 2 is still one of my favorite games of all time. And I'm looking at Alan Wake 2. I'm like, some of these bits and pieces, I'm like, he didn't write this. It's weird that they say, like, oh, we had involvement, but we didn't have involvement. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And yeah, putting a black character is a narrative involvement. So she just lied right there.
Apparently her company was unfairly targeted for wokeifying games.
And that was kind of like the assumption that we had wokeified the video games, and then that led
again just said you made Saga Black. So
as a company, we worked on over 80 games together, so there was plenty of fodder for people to start going, oh, is this the reason that all of these games are now woke, that they have people of color in them, or queer people, or any marginalized identities at all, or even sometimes that they perceive like, oh, this woman's design is not quite as it used to be, and I think it used to be hotter.
A constant theme you'll see throughout this is none of these people take any accountability
of course
whatsoever.
not.
When it comes to the impact of forced diversity on storytelling and the game quality, Kim doubles down, framing her critics as bigots.
Notice how oddly quiet they got, that they don't mention they worked on Suicide Squad. I mean, if they're consultancy groups, again, I've brought this up before, there is a bit of piece, like a little bit of the biography in for John Stewart, the Green Lantern, John Stewart, who is black, that I believe, and I think it's kind of told from the perspective of Deadshot, that refers to John Stewart as one of the good ones. Keep in mind, a big chunk of why he was given the Green Lantern is because of his fear of kind of standing up to people. I think one of the big parts in him, like before growing up for John Stewart, was like standing up to some racist cops. Keep in mind, this was before any type of woke stuff, when that, that type of shit was even bigger than what it was. But he wasn't born like rich or anything. He wasn't born privileged. And you have someone like Deadshot who, because completely race swapped, is making these little snide comments. Like, who let that in there? Because if your consultancy group said, hey, this is okay, not to mention just, oh yeah, he's not the right type of black anyway, which is even more fucked up, why didn't you say anything? I mean, whose idea was that to let go? Was that the writers, or was that you? It's like, someone should have been fired for that stupid ass comment.
Who simply can't handle change.
Like, if representation is innovation, and innovation is change, at the end of the day, that's all that they're really, really afraid of, right? They're afraid of anything that doesn't look like they remember. And we all have the Super Nintendo games, or whatever, the old games that we cling to.
I believe so. They did too, because it did so badly.
Nostalgically, but everything evolves, everything changes, and I think as long as, as folks remember, we're making products, but we're also making art, and we're going to stand by it. I think that's exactly
It's not art. No, you're not making art. You're stifling art. Again, you made these little bits and pieces that are changed. It's essentially, again, I'm going back to a lot of allegories and similes or whatever, or metaphors, but it's like, if you ever seen that one SpongeBob episode where Squidward is teaching, SpongeBob how to paint and do sculptures, and he's like, oh well, that's nice, but you forgot this one thing, and Squidward just puts his weird nose on the artwork. That's what they're doing, because it'd look a lot better if that's in there. They're not they're not doing this for art. They're trying to stifle it. They're trying to fucking
the same old tired
control
narrative that unfortunately at one point used to work. Thankfully, that tide is turning, and these people are losing their minds.
If a game company is reaching out to external people, that's because they're missing something, or they can't handle something.
Go have a coffee with
Here
your
we go.
team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
And now you know why they turned off comments. You're gonna mention that. Like, why did you never fire Chris Kindred? Why did you try to go after Cabrutus? Are you okay with them going after Cabrutus? What happened to Gothics? Miss J. Allen, CEO of Black Girl Gamers, why did you try to get her canceled?
The problem with the summit is that it was nothing more than an echo chamber where dissenting voices were excluded by design. Lopez, Parrish, and Belair continually reinforced each other's victim narratives, thinking the whole world is against them and doubling down and tripling down. They're all against us. Yeah, that's the same thing happening to me. They're all out to get me. They're all mean gamers. Everyone hates us. Why can't they just pay us money and go along with our narratives? Why are gamers the problem?
I would say that at a certain point, it's a macro level community management, right? It's learning how to, I think, express these kinds of things, not only when we have these spikes of hate campaigns, but also in general.
And then when gamers try to say, hey, let's have a conversation here, they don't want to hear it.
Of course not.
They just block you. These are the type
Of course not. Because these people don't want They don't want a discussion. None of these people want a discussion. That's why people like Mercante and all these people, and Sweet Baby Inc. and Girl Gamer, that's why they'll just do this. They don't want a conversation. They want a platform. That is it, because they can't be challenged. And they want to keep your mouth shut. And what was it like on Game of Thrones, I think? When you cut someone's tongue, cut a man's tongue, you're not keeping them silent. It's that showing that, they're dangerous or something. It's that you fear what they're going to say. And they fear what you're going to say. They're in their bubble, their echo chamber. This channel, more than anybody, should know cultists suck. Yeah.
That will paint anyone who disagrees with them as part of some grand, nefarious plot to suppress diversity and inclusion.
Well, yeah, I mean, this channel, JT, because, Alyssa Mercante contacted his wife off Facebook, trying to get him, guess trying to say, oh, he's harassing women. Like he said, what's her face? Chris Kindred contacted his work that he no longer works at anymore, trying to get him fired. Black Girl Gamer has this video copyright struck. I don't know. I'm afraid if I refresh, it might just be taken down for all. It might not even show up anymore. But yeah, they're going after people, and they somehow think that we're just going to be okay with it.
In the gaming industry, when in reality, gamers know that these people are contributing to the actual downfall of modern gaming, and they don't care about it. They would watch the industry burn as long as they can make their money on the way down. What stands out most from all of this is the blatant hypocrisy from the participants. They claim to want a dialogue, but are quick to silence or dismiss anyone who challenges their perspective. They continually assert that they're being unfairly targeted, yet they fail to recognize that they are doing the exact same thing of what they're accusing everyone else of doing, engaging in exclusion, discrimination, and bad faith arguments. That is exactly what defines these people. And judging by the
well, yeah, a little bit. I gotta be honest, half those cults are at least kind of fun to talk with. I mean, hey, sometimes you get a free knife, you get some blood. I mean, some will give you Kool-Aid. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Please, don't ever drink that stuff.
Likes and dislike counter, there aren't many people who have watched it, but
I mean, no, that's about it. But yeah, sorry, I really should have gotten the joke. That's my bad, though.
those who have hit the dislike button. And even though YouTube turned off the dislike button, you can.
And if you've seen like stuff like Midsummer, hey, some of those cultists ain't bad looking. You see some of these and like, not a looker in the bungum, not a looker in the bunch. Ugh.
Still see it through a browser add-on, and it's something that people like Black Girl Gamers and Kim Belair from Sweet Baby Inc., they don't want people to have a voice. They don't want you to be able to say that you disagree or that you don't like the direction that they're taking something. They just want you to consume, agree, and move on. And any time that you dissent from that, you are now the enemy. I wrote a comment on the video that is obviously not showing up there alongside plenty of other people that have not been approved by an administrator because they don't want people to see the truth, which actually is part of the reason why I made this video. Because if they're not going to give me a voice on their platform, I'm going to use my own that is much bigger than theirs and expose their asses for everyone to see just how horrible they really are. Hello, yes, could you please inform Kim that one of her employees at Sweet Baby Inc., Chris Kindred,
there we go,
contacted where I used to work, claiming false things about me in an attempt to get me fired. I feel like that qualifies as harassment, and I'm strongly against that. It is important that we hold everyone to higher standards. Oftentimes, the frustrations from Gamergate
I wonder if she saw it.
stems from one-sided discussions like this one here, without accountability from yourselves as well. You are not holier than thou, and in fact, do stoop to the same levels or worse than the very people you claim that are the problem. Like when Black Girl Gamers sent that cease and desist to that Park Place for reporting
that's
a
right.
story that they didn't like. Let's all try to be better, starting with yourself. And obviously, they didn't want people to see that information out there, so they didn't approve that comment. But there's nothing in that comment that says anything wrong or false. And you gotta ask yourself the question, if the vast majority of the video game community is vehemently against the existence of these consultancy groups, and everyone that I talk to and hear from, even in my comment sections that are open to all, seems like the overwhelming majority of people do not want you to exist in the gaming world, Why do you persist on your journey to do it? And ultimately, the only reason that makes sense and what it comes down to is you make a lot of money and hide behind the veil of, oh, it's for a good thing. It's because equality and equity and diversity and inclusion, and if you don't agree with it, you're a bigot. If we're gonna
That's always it. The name calling. I don't know. I mean, I don't know about you, but if people call me like a bigot or racist or like an employee calls me these names, just any type of mean names, I'm not really inclined to buy the products that they have. I don't know. That's just me.
Industry forward and truly be inclusive, we need to have open dialogues and open conversations. But unfortunately, with people like this, they will not have it. So you got to take the stance of, if you're not going to have a conversation, you need to get out of the industry because we feel like you are ruining it and you will not talk to us. And right there is exactly the epicenter of the problem of all of this. Until people like this are willing to have an open dialogue and actually discuss and have a genuine exchange of information and ideas to find out where people are at, then their claims of fostering authentic conversations will remain nothing more than hollow words. And honestly, I'm not going to hold my breath. Anyways, if you guys want more information, check out smashjt.com for the full article.
I mean, I know these people are like, oh, this is how the landscape is going. We better evolve. No, they don't want us to evolve. They want us to be complacent. They want us, again, gonna make another little comparison. It's amazing how they somehow live up to the memes of that Red Letter Media one of, don't question, just consume and get excited for next product. No, that's not how that works. They want to control us. They want us to just see, again, to be slaves, to be complacent. They just want us to just be happy with whatever stupid crap that comes out. And no, that's not how that works. You make people make the games. If we don't like them, we won't buy them. And if we do like them, we will buy them and hopefully get excited for the next thing that publisher or developer brings out. It's not that difficult. But when you start putting stuff blatantly unappealing to us, that's kind of makes us roll our eyes, we're probably not going to want to buy it regardless. No amount of fucking name calling or calling me a bigot or a misogynist or any of that crap is going to make me change my mind even more. Sorry, those are bully tactics. Those aren't even really good bully tactics. Those are the tactic you do at elementary school. And honestly, I'm over that. A lot of people have said, like, many of these people, these woke motherfuckers are basically just, they never got out of high school and they think those tactics are going to work again. They're not, because some of us grew up, and that's a lot coming from a fucking VTuber. But yeah. And all this them getting all angry and mad at us this is coming from fear. Because with stuff like Concord and like Dustborn and Alan Wake, with these games not doing as well, they fear that their job is publishers and developers, publishers mainly, are going to see that these people are redundant and they don't need them to succeed. And they never needed them to succeed. And journalists are afraid because they're going to publishers and developers are realizing that journalists don't speak for gamers anymore. They are nothing. The vast majority are a bunch of fucking shills who basically are so goddamn give the most milquetoast opinions, are so adamant in defending games that are clearly not very good, which is amazing because video game journalism is consumer journalism, where the impetus is that whether it to help the consumer, us, decide whether a game should be worth buying or not. That is it. There should be really no actual type of bias, and we clearly see it, or any of this type of stuff that they're doing now. Yeah, you can talk about development and whatnot, but essentially you need to just give us the information about these games and give your honest opinions. And none of their opinions ever seem genuine. In fact, half of them seem fucking safe. Go look at IGN. How many 7s have they given out like in the last few days? Lately, like every fucking game has been a 7, and that is a safe number. Yeah, some games can be 7s and whatnot, but like at that like, you know, that frequent of a rate, at this point, it's like you're just afraid of giving the truth. It's like this game is either so crappy or so underwhelming that you can't even say anything because you're afraid of not getting that access. So, yeah. until we get these people out, we're never really going to truly evolve. But sad, we're never really going to move on. But hopefully a lot of people are seeing the writing on the wall. Again, mostly developers and publishers, and realizing they don't need these people. They need to start going more, I guess, grassroots. And even then, I don't think, even if they kind of keep going, hopefully, I don't think it's going to be the end of this industry. It's going to probably take a big hit, but we're always going to have the AA titles, even indie titles, the people who just put their nose to the grind and just want to make fucking good games. It's never going to die. It's going to maybe be a bit stagnant, but it's not going to die. But yeah, I might have rambled. I'm sorry, but yeah. Fuck these people. And I'm sorry, JT, for these assholes fucking putting a copyright strike on his channel. They doesn't deserve that.